Right now, as you watch this video, your face has already been scanned, catalogued, and stored, not by China, but by your own government. Every camera at every intersection, every airport, every shopping mall is feeding a machine that knows where you are, where you've been, and where you're going. The surveillance state isn't coming, it's already here. You were told China's social credit system was dystopian. You were told it could never happen in the West. But here's what nobody wants to admit. Every single tool exists already. The cameras, the algorithms, the data collection. The only difference between you and a citizen in Beijing: one switch, one executive order, one national emergency. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how close that switch is to being flipped. As the philosopher Michel Foucault warned us, visibility is a trap, and you are more visible than you've ever been in human history. China's blueprint. Let's start with what China actually built, because most people have no idea how far it goes. China's social credit system isn't just one system. It's a web of over 40 different pilot programs running across cities, provinces, and private companies. By 2023, China had installed over 600 million surveillance cameras, roughly one for every 2 citizens. Facial recognition technology identifies you in under half a second. Jaywalking, your face appears on a public billboard with your name. Criticize the government online, your travel privileges disappear. Buy too many video games, your credit score drops. Every action tracked, every behavior scored, every citizen ranked. And here's what the Western media gets wrong: most Chinese citizens actually support it. Surveys from reputable institutions show approval ratings above 80%. Why? Because when you grow up inside a system, the cage doesn't feel like a cage. It feels like home. The best prison is the one that the inmates believe is freedom. But China didn't invent surveillance. They just perfected what someone else started. And that someone might surprise you. But before we get there, let's talk about what's already watching you right now. Your digital file. Open your phone right now. Go to your Google account. Click on My Activity. What you'll find will disturb you. Every search you've ever made, every place you've visited, every app you opened, and for how long. Google knows your medical concerns before your doctor does. It knows your political leanings before you've cast a vote. It knows your relationship status, your financial anxiety, your late-night insecurities. Everything. And Google is just one company. Add Facebook, Amazon, Apple, your bank, your insurance company, your grocery store loyalty card, and you have a profile so detailed that China's social credit system looks primitive by comparison. In 2018, a Cambridge Analytica whistleblower revealed that just 300 Facebook likes could predict your personality more accurately than your spouse. Your data knows you better than you know yourself. If this is starting to make you uncomfortable, good. Hit like and subscribe to keep exposing what they hide, because what comes next shows who's actually collecting all of this. The difference between you and a Chinese citizen isn't the surveillance, it's who's holding the leash. And that brings us to something governments don't want you thinking about: the NSA playbook. In 2013, Edward Snowden did something that shook the foundations of Western democracy. He proved that your government was already spying on you on a scale that made China look like amateurs. The NSA's PRISM program was tapping directly into the servers of Google, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and Yahoo. Every email, every video call, every file transfer, all collected, stored, and searchable without a warrant. Mass surveillance wasn't Chinese, it was American. Britain's GCHQ was even worse, tapping undersea fiber optic cables to intercept the raw internet traffic of entire nations. The Five Eyes Alliance, the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, built a global surveillance network that makes China's system look regional. And here's the part that should terrify you. When Snowden revealed all of this, what happened? Nothing. No one went to jail. No program was shut down. The surveillance expanded. As Snowden himself said, arguing that you don't care about privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say. The infrastructure didn't disappear. It grew. And now it's evolving into something far more dangerous than cameras on street corners. Follow the money. Forget cameras. Forget facial recognition. The real surveillance weapon is your money. Central bank digital currencies, CBDC, are being developed by over 130 countries right now. the European Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England. They all want to replace cash with programmable digital money. And here's what programmable means. Imagine a government that can see every single transaction you make in real time, every purchase, every donation, every payment. Now imagine that same government can freeze your account with a keystroke. No court order, no trial, just frozen. Think it can't happen? Canada already did it in 2022. During the trucker protests, the government froze the bank accounts of citizens who donated to a legal protest. No criminal charges, no due process, just financial punishment for political dissent. When they control your money, they control your life. China's digital yuan is the prototype. It can expire. It can be restricted to certain stores. It can be turned off if you step out of line. Your wallet is their weapon, and every Western central bank is studying it. But the financial leash is only one part of the puzzle. The next piece is something you carry in your pocket every single day. Phone as tracker. Your smartphone is the most sophisticated surveillance device ever created, and you paid for it yourself. Every 6 minutes, your phone pings nearby cell towers, revealing your exact location. Your apps track your movements even when you're not using them. In 2020, the Wall Street Journal revealed that a single data broker was selling location data on over 12 million Americans, accurate to within a few meters. That data was available to anyone willing to pay. You are carrying your own surveillance device voluntarily, but location is just the beginning. Your phone's microphone can be activated remotely. Your camera can be accessed without the indicator light turning on. The Pegasus spyware, created by Israel's NSO group, was found on the phones of journalists, activists, and heads of state across 45 countries. No click required, no link to open, just a silent infection that turned their phone into a 24-hour listening device. Your most private conversations are never truly private. During COVID, governments worldwide deployed contact tracing apps that tracked your proximity to other humans. Some countries made them mandatory. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. But vigilance requires knowing what you're watching for. And what's coming next makes phone tracking look almost quaint. AI judges you. Artificial intelligence has already replaced human judgment in ways you never consented to. When you apply for a loan, an algorithm decides if you're worthy. When you apply for a job, AI scans your resume before a human ever sees it. When you post on social media, an algorithm decides who sees it and who doesn't. Invisible judges, invisible verdicts. In the United States, predictive policing algorithms direct officers to neighborhoods based on crime prediction models trained on historically biased data. In the UK, algorithms have been used to grade students' exam results, systematically disadvantaging kids from poorer areas. In China, the algorithm scores your social credit. In the West, it scores your insurance risk, your creditworthiness, your employability. Different names, same principle. Scored. And unlike a human judge, you can't appeal to an algorithm. You can't argue with code. You can't look machine learning in the eye and ask for mercy. You are already being scored, and you don't even know it. The architect George Orwell warned us about Big Brother watching. He never imagined Big Brother would be an algorithm that writes its own rules. But algorithms need data. And the next frontier of data collection is something you can't take off, can't leave at home, and can't turn off. Biometric trap. You can change your password. You can get a new phone number. You can even change your name. But you cannot change your face. You cannot change your fingerprints. You cannot change your iris pattern or your gait or the way your heart beats. Biometric data is the ultimate identifier, permanent, unique, and irreversible, and governments are collecting it at an unprecedented scale. 1. India's Aadhaar. 1. 3 billion fingerprints and iris scans. 2. EU's entry-exit system. Biometrics of all non-EU travelers. 3. US Real ID. Facial recognition linked to state databases. 4. China. DNA collection from entire ethnic populations. Once your biometrics are in a database, they're there forever. When that database is breached, and it will be breached, you can't reset your face like a password. In 2019, a major biometric database containing the fingerprints and facial recognition data of over 1 million people was found completely exposed online. No encryption, no protection, just sitting there. As the great philosopher Hannah Arendt observed, the moment we no longer have a free press, anything can happen. What makes it possible for a totalitarian regime to rule is that people are not informed. But what happens when they don't need to silence the press? Because they've found something more effective. Censorship engine. China has the Great Firewall. But the West has something subtler and arguably more effective: algorithmic censorship. You don't need to ban a website when you can simply make it invisible. Shadow banning, demonetization, algorithmic suppression, deplatforming. These are the tools of modern censorship, and they operate without any legal framework, without any accountability, without any transparency. Silent erasure, no trial needed. In 2020, the World Economic Forum partnered with major tech companies to create the Global Coalition for Digital Safety. Their stated goal: combating misinformation. Their actual power: deciding what information you're allowed to see. During COVID, posts questioning lockdown policies were removed. During elections, posts challenging official narratives were labeled as misinformation. Who decides what is misinformation, and who watches the watchers? The EU's Digital Services Act gives governments the power to compel platforms to remove content within hours. Not illegal content, content deemed harmful by bureaucrats. As the brilliant Noam Chomsky put it, the smart way to keep people passive and obedient is to strictly limit the spectrum of acceptable opinion, but allow very lively debate within that spectrum. Control the information, and you control the people. But there's one final piece that ties everything together, and it's the one that should worry you the most: the emergency card. Every surveillance system ever built was justified by an emergency. The Patriot Act followed September 11th. PRISM was justified by the war on terror. Contact tracing was justified by COVID. Facial recognition was justified by fighting crime. Every single expansion of government surveillance has been sold to you as temporary protection against an immediate threat. Temporary, and not a single one was ever rolled back. This is the pattern: create a crisis or wait for one. Expand emergency powers, normalize surveillance, make it permanent. The Weimar Republic's Article 48 allowed rule by emergency decree. It was used 109 times before democracy collapsed entirely. The point was never the emergency. The point was the power. COVID proved something terrifying: that populations in democratic nations would accept lockdowns, movement tracking, vaccine passports, and bank freezes with barely a protest. The infrastructure was tested, and it worked. The next emergency is the excuse they are waiting for. As Benjamin Franklin warned centuries ago, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. But knowing the pattern is only half the battle. The question is, what can you actually do about it? Your only defense. Here's the uncomfortable truth that ties everything together: the social credit system isn't unique to China. The infrastructure for total surveillance exists in every developed nation on Earth. It just hasn't been activated yet. The cage is already built. They just haven't locked the door. Your data is already collected. Your face is already mapped. Your transactions are already tracked. Your phone already reports your location. Your social media already scores your opinions. The only difference between you and a citizen in Shenzhen is the name of the system and the speed of implementation. Awareness is the first and most powerful line of defense. So what do? First, understand that privacy is not something you have, it's something you practice. Use encrypted messaging. Support organizations fighting digital rights. Use cache whenever possible. Question every app permission. Read every privacy policy. Second, demand transparency. Every camera, every algorithm, every database that touches your life should be subject to public accountability. Demand transparency, resist silence. And third, never, ever trade your freedom for convenience. Because once it's gone, history shows it does not come back. The technology is neutral. It's the hands that hold the switch that matter. Make sure those hands answer to you. We've traced the architecture of surveillance from Beijing to Washington, from your phone to your bank account, from algorithms to biometrics. And the pattern is unmistakable. Power is not a means, it is an end. The object of power is power. China didn't invent surveillance, they simply showed the world what's possible when a government stops pretending to care about your privacy. Every Western nation watched, and every Western nation took notes. The cameras are already installed. The data is already flowing. The algorithms are already judging you. The only question that remains is whether you will demand accountability before the switch is flipped or after. Your move, your future. If you made it this far, comment switch not flipped if you refuse to let this become your reality. Every government lies. The question is, what are they lying about? The truth is out there. You just have to follow the money. Subscribe if you want to keep digging.